At some point, most of us are told that if we want to take photography seriously, we need a plan before we ever step into the world with a camera. In landscape photography especially, we are encouraged to check the weather, look at reference images on Google, think through what kind of photograph we want to make, and decide whether the conditions justify the effort. That advice means well. Planning can be useful. It can help us focus and reduce uncertainty when time is limited. But over time, something else starts to happen. Planning slowly stops being a tool and starts becoming a requirement. Once that happens, it can also become a reason not to go out at all. Most photographers don't notice this shift while it's happening. They only notice it later, when they are going out less often and can't quite explain why. This video is about that moment. Many photographers reach a point where they feel they should not make photographs unless the circumstances are clearly in their favor. Like the fairy tale character Goldilocks, everything needs to be just right. The light needs to be just right. The weather needs to behave. The idea needs to feel strong enough to warrant our investment of time. If those pieces are not in place, the decision quietly shifts from when to go out to whether it is worth going out at all. What looks like discernment on the surface can begin to function very differently underneath. That hesitation is not laziness or indifference. There is something more primal at work, and it can be death to our creativity. It is fear. The fear of wasting time when time already feels scarce. The fear of coming home without anything worth keeping. The fear that effort once spent will feel unjustified. These fears are not necessarily irrational. They come from caring about our work and wanting it to matter. But when fear starts driving the process, it changes our behavior in ways we do not always recognize right away. We hesitate longer. Waiting for better conditions slowly turns into postponing the outing itself. And without ever making a clear decision, suddenly we go out less often. People do not stop thinking of themselves as photographers because they lose skill or interest. They stop because the threshold for participation gets too steep. Every outing has to earn its place, and many never do when viewed through a filter of fear. Photography becomes something we plan for instead of something we practice. That shift matters more than you might expect. Our photography is not sustained by occasional success. It is sustained by regular engagement. It can thrive on us showing up, even when we are not sure what the day will offer. But getting there is not always easy. I know that going out without a plan can feel uncomfortable, especially if we value intention and structure. Uncertainty can feel careless. Wandering can feel unproductive. Not knowing what we are looking for can feel like we are making a big mistake. Those reactions deserve to be acknowledged, not dismissed. They come from a genuine desire to respect our craft and our time. However, fear can push us to produce something. It can create short-term results. But fear makes for a poor, long-term companion. It narrows our attention too much. It turns photography into something we manage rather than something we live in and with. Over time, it drains curiosity and replaces care with effort and stress. Have you ever faced any of these feelings? If so, I'd be interested in hearing more. You can share your thoughts in the comments section, or you can reach out privately to my email. There is a better way of relating to our work that often gets overlooked. It is the opposite primal emotion to fear. It is love. Yep, I said it. I went there. Let me explain. Love works differently. When we approach our work with love, it allows us to accept imperfect days alongside successful ones. It keeps us open to circumstances instead of fighting them. It allows us to stay engaged when the outcome is uncertain and the conditions are ordinary. When we love our craft, we are willing to be patient with it. We forgive ourselves for days that do not produce a lot. We remain curious. We notice. We stay engaged long enough for something to emerge rather than forcing it to appear. This kind of openness is not passive. It is active, attentive, and resilient. Many people watching this video are balancing work, family, health, and responsibilities that were not there earlier in life. The idea of waiting for ideal conditions makes sense on paper. However, it often means waiting longer than our photography and our creativity can afford. Light does not always need to be dramatic to be interesting. A familiar place does not need to surprise us to hold our attention. Small changes become visible when we are not rushing toward a preconceived result. Practicing our craft becomes easier when we accept and even embrace its imperfections. The hard truth is that on some days, outings lead to photographs we keep. Other days, they do not. Both outcomes are normal. Neither should be treated as a verdict on the value of the time spent out or our quality as photographers. When open-minded engagement comes first, photography returns to being a practice of love rather than a transaction with fear. We are no longer asking what the day owes us. We are simply present, ready to see what is there. Photography lives in our relationship with seeing. Its quality grows through awareness and repetition, often at the expense of perfection. Working without a plan is not careless. It is a deliberate decision to prioritize engagement over outcome. Yes, planning can support that kind of work, but it cannot replace it. A plan can organize our effort, but it cannot create our desire. Only loving what we do does that. At the beginning of this new year, knowing which filters our mind chooses matters. The difference in our photographic journey this year is under our control today. Our creativity does not begin when everything lines up just right, like in a fairy tale. It begins when we step outside and choose love over fear, to see, to be happier in our work, to be open to the day's possibilities. When fear leads, photography becomes conditional. We wait. We compare and measure. We withhold ourselves until the outcome feels justified to others' expectations. When love leads, engagement comes first. We show up not to extract something from the day, not to serve others, but to stay connected to the act of seeing and photography itself. That choice, repeated over time, is what sustains our work. Not because every outing succeeds, but because our relationship with our photography does. I'm Ken Evans, a photographer from the Mid-Atlantic. Each week I make 1 or 2 videos about the intersection of black and white photography and life. I invite you to subscribe and join me again here. And if you have thoughts or reactions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I read them all, and they genuinely matter to me. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, black and white art is art for anywhere.